we'll switch gears. We'll switch into the NBA.
Yeah.
And we'll get going with that. Man, the Heat. 22?
22 wins, yeah.
22
Yeah, and possibly could make it 23 with going against the
play
Celtics.
Boston tonight.
So that's exciting. Anytime those teams play each other, it's always exciting. Even with Rondo out, they still have the potential to be able to beat the Heat as the saying goes.
With maybe no KG.
I think KG will. He missed shoot around today, but it's a game time decision.
I don't know, man. You need every cylinder you can get to play this type of a team coming out on a 22-game win.
Yeah, I still have the Heat winning no matter even if KG plays.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I think it's a statement game for them, and even though they say they're not concerned about the record or anything, they're having fun. They're having fun and doing it. And LeBron James has not took a step off the pedal at all. So I look at the Heat as. Do you think they can run the table? It's a question.
Run the table? I don't know.
That'll be hard, but do you think they can do it or no?
I mean, I'm looking at their schedule. I don't know if they can run the table, but I'm going to look at what they can run in the next several games. And the way it seems to me, if they can get through Boston tonight, I really think their schedule is pretty simple.
Yeah, well, last time we talked, it was about the Heat and their record, and they were going up against Indiana, and I thought that Indiana would give them more trouble than Boston would.
Indiana can't seem to get over the hump with them now.
Yeah,
I mean, for some reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's I don't know. I think they may be able to do it. It would be exciting to watch. I'm not
33 in a row, Lakers record.
Well, they just beat. If they win tonight, it would be Houston's They just tied Houston's record.
Yeah,
Or they just and Shane Battier was on that Rockets team.
That's
so
pretty interesting.
Yeah, 6 degrees of separation. Following that.
There's a couple of teams. The Heat streak is pretty damn good right now. There's a couple of teams that are doing well. Also, the Nuggets.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are playing well. They are threatening the 3 seed. The Clippers, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets are all right now battling. They're within a game of the 3 seed. They've been on a pretty good win streak, man. That trade that they made, Carmelo Anthony to the Knicks, to me has always favored Denver.
Yeah.
Always favored Denver. I've always loved Ty Lawson, the way he plays the game of basketball as a tempo setter for that point guard laden team. He's pretty amazing to me. I don't know if he gets all NBA accolades. Maybe he doesn't score as much as Kyrie Irving, but Ty Lawson makes that team go.
Okay, so my question to you is: so do you think the West is not set yet? I mean, in the East, we pretty much
the East is set to me, but the West I think can be changed. I think you got right now as it stands, you got San Antonio a game ahead of Oklahoma City. I think they will battle out for the rest of the season for the 1 seed. 15 plus games left.
Now that's gonna be an interesting thing too, because think about it. The 1 seed more likely will probably end up playing the Lakers.
No, it won't be the Lakers in my mind, because you got 3 battles going on right now. You got the battle for 1,
right?
Then you got the battle for 3, 4, 5,
right?
And then you got the battle for 6, 7, 8. So you got the Golden State Warriors at 6, Houston at 7, the Lakers at 8. They're within a game and a half each other.
But you said the Lakers weren't going to move to 6 spot.
I've been wrong.
Okay. Remember that last
in life,
episode,
people,
right?
in life, valuable lesson right here. We will be wrong half the time in life, and I'm okay with that. This is one of those times where I was wrong. Okay.
Okay. So sorry.
I think they're pushing for a 6 seed if they can keep going.
Even with Kobe being hurt.
Look, they are 2 games behind Golden State.
Okay.
Game and a half, 2 games behind Golden State. They are a half game behind Houston right now. Houston just got embarrassed last night.
So who's going to be out of the West?
Those teams will be there, but I think the Lakers will jump ahead of Houston and Golden State and get to 6 by the time it's over with. I think that'll happen. I think Oklahoma City will eclipse San Antonio and get to 1. and I think the Denver Nuggets will get to 3 in the West. So it'll be Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Denver, the Clippers, and or the Memphis Grizzlies, because that'll be 4 or 5. Then I got the Lakers at 6, and then I'm maybe Golden State at 7, or yes, Golden State at 7.
So which team in the West is the most important seed for them to get? You would say? Would you
for them being
the team itself? Would it be Oklahoma City obtaining the 1 seed? Would it be the Lakers not having to go to the 8th seed and move up to either 6 or 7, so they don't have to play either San Antonio or Oklahoma City? Or?
I think if the Lakers can avoid either San Antonio and Oklahoma City in round 1, it would benefit the Lakers.
So it's more important for the Lakers.
Yes.
In the West.
Yes.
To obtain the 6th seed.
In my mind, yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes. To avoid playing the Spurs and the Thunder in the first round. Exactly.
Because mark your words and my words. If they play the Thunder, they're going to get swept.
Yeah. They're not going to beat the Thunder.
Okay.
Definitely not with 100% Kobe. For
Got
sure
it.
not. No. And maybe even now the Spurs. I always say they could beat the Spurs because the Spurs are an older team. Also, they're stars anyway, and especially Parker. He's not 100%. They have not been the same team. They've been winning here and there, but they have not been putting teams away like championship teams are supposed to do.
I don't think they can beat the Spurs, and I said that the last time, and I said I don't think they'll beat. I don't think the Spurs will sweep them, but I don't think they will beat the Spurs. And I'm not going to beat the drum again, so I'll leave it at that.
Let's hope don't beat the drum. All right, now we haven't spoken, Momo, about this next topic, UFC. We're a big. Well, I'm a huge MMA fan. You know, probably much bigger than you. I don't know. My level of love for this sport has become just amazingly high. I don't even care for boxing anymore, and it's actually been that way since the 90s and early 2000s. But I've been wanting to talk about the UFC. We get a chance to talk about it right now. You know, we just had a huge fight. George St. Pierre fought Nick Diaz, or it was Nick Diaz?
Nick Diaz.
Nick Diaz, yeah. You know, welterweight championship. He actually toyed with him, to be honest with you. Dominated him. Took him down early in round 1 and just kept him down. Diaz couldn't get anything off in the first round. Second round was basically the same thing. Diaz just couldn't do anything, man. St. Pierre won easily, to be honest with you. It was an easy fight. Diaz was a sore loser. I saw the post fight. I saw the post.
Well, a lot of a lot of these, not just him, but a lot of guys are sore losers, and when they lose. But you know, that's the thing with UFC. If somebody's in your weight class, you gotta fight them. There's no ducking and diving.
If you want to be the champion, that's why I love this sport in comparison to boxing. If you want to be known, as they say, as the champion of a weight class, then in my estimation, there should be no one you should not fight. You should fight everyone. In my mind. If there's a person out there that thinks that they're better than you and they're ranked 5, then you should fight them. You know, if there's a championship de facto fight, 1 versus 2, and the winner of that should fight. Definitely, it should always be that way, because if that's the way the sport is, then do that. That's what upsets me about boxing. It just has pissed me off.
There's so many championships.
You got 1 weight class with four different champions. The IBF, the WBA, the WBC, the WBO. Then some other shit that they got out there for North American and all some old crazy shit. What the fuck, man? I just want to know who the fuck the champion is, man. Who's the champ? You got 4 different champions and 4 different weight and none of them want to fight each other.
Right,
none of them want to fight each other.
And I think the thing with boxing too is, you know, we all waited for the Pacquiao and the
Mayweather fight. Man. Both of them didn't want to fight
for years and years, and even though the money would be there, you know, there would be a large purse. It was either Twitter wars or this person, and you know, your manager said this and this type of testing, and it's, you know,
doesn't even make sense in combat sports.
You know,
doesn't even make sense.
No.
I mean, it really doesn't make sense. I don't. That's what it's like, an oxymoron. It's like combat sports, boxing, but I don't want to fight the
politics of it. Seems to overrule.
So that's why I've gravitated, Momo, towards UFC the last 5, 10 years, especially the last 5 years, and some guys have been putting in work to me as the best fighters on the planet just even boxing, even superior to these guys. James Toney tried to ridicule the sport of UFC a few years ago and got embarrassed against Randy Couture. I don't know if you remember that or even know about that. James Toney, the light heavyweight champion in boxing, would talk all this shit about boxing or UFC, saying how unlegit it was, and then they put him in the ring against Randy Couture, and what happened? Couture took him down.
Well, yeah, I mean, you saw
took him down and never let him up.
you saw it with Brock Lesnar when he came in.
Yeah.
You know, he got rocked too as well.
Man.
So you know, and some football players that try to go into, and this is a skilled sport. You know, it's not
a very very skilled.
You know,
sport.
you have to know exactly what you're doing, and it's a mixture of boxing, wrestling, all types of fighting from all over the world.
Jiu-jitsu training, Muay Thai, karate, all of these different mixed martial arts.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to just go out there and just be bigger than somebody. And even if you are a Kimbo Slice, you're gonna get rocked.
You're gonna get taken down to the ground if you. So let's talk about they just incorporated women into with Ronda Rousey, the first woman champion in UFC history, fought about a few weeks ago, and I saw the fight, and it was a fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't no females to be
Blood
looked
wrestling,
at.
yeah.
No. It was a fight.
Right.
It was intense for the round that it was, and I can't wait to see more of women's fighting because they were especially Rousey. She's a beast. I love her, the way she comes out all serious with her shit on, and she's all serious, and you should see her come out. She's like a G.
You think she can take Brittany Griner?
Well, it depends on if Griner can take. The dirty business of fighting.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's what fighting is.
Yeah.
If you can take punches and expect to be punched, you'll be all right. Yeah. Because that's what it's about. It's about fighting. So anybody can make it. Anybody can. Herschel Walker doesn't like it.
Yeah, that is true. One of the Ravens players did it too. Linebackers.
Well, and Arthur Jones trains with his brother. John Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Light heavyweight champion. The Ravens defensive tackle. He trains that way.
Yeah, and Jay Glazer trained helps with a lot of these.
Yeah, the sports talk guy. Yeah. So now we got Jones fighting coming up April 26th or 7th. I think it's the 27th against Chael Sonnen. I personally don't even understand why that's a fight. Personally, it's a mismatch. For those of you who don't know,
Chael likes to do a lot of.
Still, it's a mismatch. He's going to get his ass handed to him.
I think he should go to the WWE because he's more like the Rock.
The promotion of
promotion. Yeah, I mean, just do announcing, because his mouth seems to do more talking than.
Well, that's what I think that's what he's been doing. I think that's exactly what he's been doing. He's going to fight Jones. He's going to get embarrassed. He's going to get his ass whooped, and then he's going to get right back to announcing like what he's been doing. And I think that is what his career is going to be. I think he's going to be an announcer for UFC, MMA fights, and he's good at it, to be honest with you. I've listened to him. I can deal with him. I just think against John Jones, he's going to get his ass smashed, personally. Yeah. I don't even think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
The only way it's not close is if Jones is asleep during the fight, which is just not going to happen. That's like improbable. All right, so we got Anderson Silva fighting coming up also in July. There's some great fighters in the UFC. I've got my top 5. And a lot of people have top 5s, but I've got a pound-for-pound top 5 just based on who I think is most destructive when they fight. That's how I base my top 5. Mm-hmm. Who I think, when they're fighting, whoever they're fighting, their opponents, who does the most work and is the most destructive and dominant. Okay. That's how I see my top 5.
All right, well, listen.
And my number 1, and it's a hard one for me because I'm a huge John Jones fan, but Anderson Silva has been doing it. He hadn't lost since 2007. Yeah. Yeah, that's like 6 years. So he's been dominant against everybody.
4 losses, I think, something like that.
He's 33-4. Anderson Silva hadn't lost since 2007, and has been dominant. The only time that he looked vulnerable, if you will, was against Chael Sonnen in their first fight, who took him to the limit, almost beat him, but bam, man, Anderson did what he does. But the second fight was a no-brainer. But John Jones, to me, is number 2. He's just destructive, young, the next great fighter. I think he's going to just take the UFC to another stratosphere, personally, on a lot of levels, because he's such a good person, it seems like. A good speaker, he's smart, he's sharp, witty, You know what I'm saying? The cat is good looking. He's a good role model, if you will. And with this being a combative sport,
right,
that's exactly what they're looking for.
Okay.
He's exactly in that age range. GSP, George St. Pierre, to me is third. Yeah, he's been doing it longer than Jones, but I just think that with the destructiveness, like I said, of John Jones, I actually think Jones is number one. But because Silva has been doing it for such a longer time, I give him the respect.
Do you see them two fighting each other?
Jones would destroy him.
I don't think Silva won.
He's just too big for Anderson Silva.
Yeah, if he moved up to
right, he's just too big for Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I love Anderson Silva, and I think Anderson Silva, like I said, is my top guy. But if they fought, Jones would destroy him.
Yeah.
He's just too big for him. He's rightfully a heavyweight, and he will move there soon enough. I got Benson Henderson, who's a lightweight champ. He's a beast, dog. You got to watch him fight, man. He is a stud, a pit bull, dog. He's a beast. And then I got Cain Velasquez. That's my top five. So I got Anderson Silva, John Jones, George St. Pierre, Benson Henderson, and Cain Velasquez.
All right. I got Anderson Silva, my number one.
Yeah.
I got John Jones, my number two. I got Junior Dos Santos.
Okay.
Yeah. My number three.
Yeah.
I got Jose Aldo.
Okay.
My number four.
Yeah.
And Cain, going at Cain Velasquez number five.
Cain at number five. Okay. I mean, I'm a little perplexed.
That's mine.
Yeah, I figure,
that's mine.
I'm a little perplexed. I mean, Cain at number 5. You got JSD Dos Santos at number 3. They fought twice.
Yes.
Most recently
they did.
In their fight, your number 5 rated guy beat the shit out of your number 3 rated guy for all their rounds.
Hey man, there's a possibility.
I mean, you didn't see that fight. I didn't see the fight either. But what I know about that fight from reading on my reports is he handled Dos Santos pretty handily.
Hey, that's my number 5. Okay. I mean, that's my top 5.
I mean,
it's my fave 5. It's my fave 5, like they call it. You know. But all in all, I mean, the UFC is coming, and I mark my words, it will be in the Olympics.
Yes, I agree with you.
You know, they came from the point where they were just pay-per-view, small fan base, gymnasium. No one knew it, and now it's on to Fox TV, and it's come popular. And in a sense, people want to say, oh, blah blah blah. You know, you got to understand the sport. You know that, and as far as an international base, it reaches every single continent.
It's not just brutality.
Right.
That happens.
Yes.
It's fighting.
Right.
Ultimate fighting, actually. So it's not just brutality. You know, and that's what some people believe that it was when it first, kicked off some 10, 15 years ago, that it was all about brutality. No. It has evolved. To me, it's got 3 disciplines going on. You've got boxing or striking. You've got grappling, wrestling, and then you've got your mixed martial arts, if you will.
Right.
You know, your jiu-jitsu, your karate, your taekwondo, your Muay Thai, all of those. That's all mixed martial arts.
Right. So you use those things. For
those
example,
3.
Right. You had wrestling that was in the Olympics. You had boxing that was in the Olympics. You had your. I
mean, they've got judo.
And you have judo, right? Yeah, exactly. So I mean, so they have karate. So I mean, pretty much you're all rolling 3 of those into you.
All in one.
Pick your style and bring what
ultimate
you got.
Fighting. Right. That's basically what it is, and it's to me the most exciting combat out there.
Obviously, if the ratings are there, you know what I mean. Yeah. So there are people that are watching it. The ratings are coming. It's exciting, like you said, with boxing itself fading out. It's something that the fans can look to, and it's growing big. You know,
it's becoming huge. The next, I predict within the next several years, by 2020, it will eclipse boxing.
Yeah.
Boxing will become an afterthought to UFC.
Yeah,
in my mind. I just believe boxing plays a bunch of games. Like I said, you'll never know who the real champion is because they just won't fight each other, and that just doesn't work in mixed martial arts. It doesn't work. If you want to be the champion, you're going to have to fight the champion. Or like they say, to beat the man, you got to be the man. Woo! That's how it works. And that's how it works. I mean, it's no shortcuts in MMA. You have got to fight the top guys, or you just won't be in the sport. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm upset with boxing. It's upsetting that they don't really have the top guys fight each other when they should fight each other. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense. All right. So we're good to go?
Yes, sir.
That's it for episode 5. Raymo and Momo Show. You guys keep on plugging it in, man, and checking us out there in YouTube land. And we're going to get better at what we're doing here, give you guys a whole different setup and make you feel a little bit more real with us. But that's the plans. So check us out every week. Check us out on the net, man. See what's happening. All right. Raymo and Momo Show.